Textilebeauty. Let's get started. I've got NYX Jumbo White Pencil. NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. Sorry. I already have a Dainty Doll primer on, which just creates quite a nice sticky base. But I do want a bit more white on the lid, which I think always just looks so weird when you first apply it. But I'm just going to tap at that with my finger to blend it. And I also want a little underneath, just under the lash line. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the stage where I always think, oh my god, what am I doing? But that is the white around the eyes, and it's very important to make the other colours pop. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take two pencils because I want to do the brows. I'm going to start with blue and end out in sort of a reddy orange colour, and I'm going to use two sets of products. I'm going to use pencils first to do the main colouring, and then I'm going to apply powders on top to set that in place. So the blue pencil I'm using is Chaos from Urban Decay, and I'll go ahead and start that. And I can afford to be quite sort of graphic in shape with that. Which looks totally crazy right now, but you know, it's a crazy look, so once everything else is in place with it, it'll look fine. Then I'm using Cherry, which is a NYX Jumbo pencil. Right. Trusty wet wipe on hand now so that when I do things I can't smudge colours. But there is the sort of finished effect so far, so Cherry and Chaos. And then I'm going to complete this brow before I go on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to use Chaos, the shadow from the Electric palette, and the colour that totally escapes me. I don't know why, I can't remember that colour right now, but I'm going to use that amazing sort of orangey red colour. So we're going to go ahead and use those. I might use a little bit of Gonzo as well because I really love that blue, but we'll see. So first with the Chaos, I'm just going to pat that on top. That actually really deepens that colour up quite nice. Then I'm going to take the orangey colour and pop that on top of Cherry. And I have gone for quite a thick brow, but that is fine. That is what I want. I don't want to have a very thin brow for this. I want the brows to be pretty like wow, if you know what I mean. So I think that that is pretty wow. And just pop that colour off the edge of this brush. I'm just going to take Gonzo, and I think I'll just pop that underneath. Oh, that is pretty. Yeah, I like that. So that colour's just going underneath. And that's what that looks like. Very graphic. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other brow and I'll be right back. Okay, with both my crazy brows done, it's time to move on to MAC's Pure White Pigment. And I'm going to just use an Urban Decay sort of shadow brush for this. I think I'm going to put some blush on, which seems totally mad at this stage, but the other stuff's going to come down onto the blush. I'm just using this one from Colourworks because it's a really nice bright sort of corally orange colour, which is really nice and out there kind of colour. And I would normally be quite gentle with blush, but I'm going to go a bit heavier than normal. I think really next what I have to do is, it's probably, if I just line the top lash line, because then I think it'll start to look a little bit more cohesive and together. In fact, if I actually line the waterline as well, that's going to be really good. It's just the Soap and Glory, I don't know what this is. Is this the Smolder Coal? No, it's not. Is this Too Faced? No, this is Too Faced Lava Gloss Eyeliner. And it's just itty bitty. It was just a little sample one. Actually, I'm not even going to try to put that under the eyes because I think that's just way too liquidy in a way for a pencil. I know that sounds mad, but it has just become very, very melty. So I don't want to risk using that underneath. I'm actually just going to use Zero by Urban Decay and just go underneath the lash line. This part, not important how tidy it is, because there's other stuff going on under the eye. So that's fine. It's starting to look progressively worse and worse and worse. Oh my goodness, I hope that this ends up really quite nice. Okay, I'm going to use, I think this is Woodstock. Woodstock by Urban Decay in the waterline. It's a really nice pink. It's just something a little different. So, yes, it looks quite clownish, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll all come together, fingers crossed. Okay, so I have used shadows from the Colourworks palette, which actually got really cheap at Superdrug, and I've actually scratched those out of there, and I'll show you, hopefully without tipping it all up. I have scraped them out onto here to create sort of powders, and I've got my Face Atelier here, and I'm just going to add a couple of drops to each, and then I'm going to come back and we'll start applying. There. I'm going to use this brush from Urban Decay. Quite nervous about this because it's an inspired look, but I've not tried it. But I'm going to take a little bit of each colour and dot it under the eye, and then with the other end I'm going to pull it down. But I'm going to have to keep washing it in between because obviously these shades are now wet. Okay, so I'm going to try and work quite fast. I've run out of room for the last colour. I'm just going to use the opposite end of the brush and pull the colours down. So that's what those colours look like pulled down. And we'll go on and do the other eye. So that's it so far. Really out there, but the capital is really out there, so I just wanted to go all out with this look, really. I just really wanted to enjoy it. Now this I do not like. Right, I'm going to tell you something. I do not like this little liner at all. I don't know if you can see, but because I have been working away there, The liner has transferred. That's just a nightmare of a liner. I just think it's rubbish. So I'm not happy with that at all. But I can deal with that with a nice makeup soaked cotton bud. That's it. Okay, I am going to need to get a black liner and go in though to kind of create some definition now with all this colour that's going on. I'm just going to go to trusty Urban Decay 0. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to just use that liner very quickly because it is so soft and so smudgy. Actually, as much as I don't want to use it in the long term, I think it'll really work with this look because I want to put some black in. I think this camera is confused. I got really fuzzy. The camera's like, what are you doing? I've got Candy Yum Yum by MAC because it's a really bright neon pink. I think it'll go really well. And because the eyes are so crazy, I totally did not want to go for crazy lips, to be fair. So I'm just going to apply some mascara really quickly. I'm definitely going to, honestly, I cannot tell you how crap I think that liner is. There's gaps in it already. I may be crazy, but yeah, I am. I'm going to try and put these lashes on because I think it'll actually look really good with the look. Look, can you really call this a look? It's just gone a bit haywire. Just using Urban Decay Dime. Trying not to scratch my skin off because the top of it's just come off. I just want to use that under the brow. It's kind of a brow highlight in a way. Just a little bit of silveriness under the brows. Okay. Okay, I'm really glad I did the lashes. They actually really add something. They make it, I think the eyes, just excuse itchy nose. They make the eyes just look, I don't know, they pop a bit more. They're really glittery and really long at the edges. These were actually, it was buy one get one half price at Superdrug, but they were reduced in price. So I can't remember, I think this cost me $1.50 for 2 pairs. Of course I got the other ones, so they're just a bit more wearable, but I wanted to get some really quite crazy ones for this look. These are the Ginny lashes in Disco Diva. So I couldn't resist these lashes when I saw them. These ones are curling really well at the edge. I actually haven't used glue. They were really quite sticky when they came out of the packaging. So I kind of just went with it and just stuck them on. So that's it. Those are the eyes. Crazy, crazy. I might actually use a black shadow now and just add a bit more in between these colours just for a bit more definition, because I think I was actually, when I was thinking, where have I got that brush now? I was actually thinking that there would be more black in between these colours and just a bit more definition. So I do want to go and do that, and hopefully it's not going to ruin it. I almost want it to look like sort of that the liner is bleeding down. So those are the eyes and the brows. Okay, so that is with the grey wig, which I really quite like this grey wig. I like the style of this one. Kind of a bob. And I think the grey looks really good with like the colourful situation that's going on. So, I don't know. What do you think? You think I've gone nuts, right? Yeah. It's not quite what I thought, but I went with it. It was inspired. This may not even be in the Hunger Games series. It may be just something that I choose to use elsewhere. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial. I will include a bit at the end. I'm going to go over the brows with black. There will be some photos at the end with both colour brows. I think it'll look really good with black, so I'm going to give that a go as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and this series. It's been a lot of fun. Everybody's created some really amazing looks within this series, and there's going to be a video coming up next which shows you all of the looks from all 3 weeks from all participants, and I really hope you enjoy it because it's been really exciting to be part of. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who jumped on board with this and anybody who's watched or commented or liked these videos. I've been Spacey's #1 girl. I don't know what I'm saying. It's totally knocked me off course. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. I've been Spacey's #1 girl, and this is the colour of my kiss. Mwah.